Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
It's episode 208.
Super Mario and the Undead. This
week on Cup of Rad. Hey everyone, we're back. We're back at you with a lot of movies.
We do have a lot
of movies.
Which is why we took a break to make sure we could watch
a collection of sorts. And we also have TV to talk about too.
Yeah.
So tonight we have brought out this thing called Deep Cove Secret Beach Mango Pineapple Sour. So,
beer, not coffee, by the way.
Yeah.
Clarifying.
So Secret Beach Mango Pineapple Sour, known only to the locals of Deep Cove, lies a secret beach. Looking out on the endless crystal clear waters and the rolling mountains, you are instantly transported to your own personal paradise. With a tart and light body, an intense mango and pineapple fruit flavor, it's time to break out of your beach chairs and umbrellas and add some tropics to this local secret.
And now you know.
That's the can. So it's a
we went and wandered around a different liquor store around here than we normally do, and they have this cold room that had all sorts of craft breweries in it, a lot of local stuff, and we just had a lot of fun looking at all the different types of cans and stories behind things and finding some new flavors. So yeah, it was a fun little shopping excursion.
So maybe the podcast will have a little beer review. So what is your feeling on this
Really?
Mango pineapple sour.
I really enjoy it. It's got a nice sour flavor to it, not being too much sour, but it's got a little bit of a sweetness to it. Yeah. So it's a really nice, simple one.
It's easy drinking.
Yeah. So far, I'm really happy with it.
Right.
So and it's a purple can. It's got pineapples on it. I mean, I was like, Mike, this is meant for you.
Yeah, pineapple and purple. It's
perfect.
Epic. You know, the other day,
you should get a purple pineapple tattoo.
A purple pineapple tattoo.
Because it's fun to say purple pineapple.
Purple pineapple. The other day, Jesse and I, we went and had burgers, and they had Brew Hall had the Mighty Morphin Green Kiwi Sour.
Oh, did you try that?
Yeah.
So I know you're taking a picture of it.
Yeah.
At one point.
So it was really good because it had lime in it as well. So then it gave it like a different sweetness to counteract some of the bitters.
Oh, okay.
So it was really, really refreshing.
That's fun.
So, but apparently they have done a whole set of Power Ranger sours, and we were very sad to find out that they're not available anymore because they do them yearly.
Oh, wow.
So they did like a red cherry vanilla sour.
Oh wow.
They did a mango yellow sour.
Oh, okay.
They did it wasn't a sour, but it was a black blackberry.
Oh, okay.
Gose. And they did a pink dragon fruit.
Oh wow! So they have it in blue right there.
They have it in blue.
So then maybe you'll be able to take advantage of that.
After the
I know there's some blueberry stuff around, so maybe it might be that. So.
But yeah, it would be really interesting to go through and see all the different ones because we got stuck too much on one type, and the realization that we can actually venture forth and try other flavors.
Well, there's a lot of different options, and a lot of in our whole
funky
lower
cans.
mainland. A lot of local breweries. This one is this over from the island or is the
North End
area? North End. And then we have another one that's from the island. And I think it's really fun to see and just try different things and kind of see what's available, right? So,
yeah.
I know last week we enjoyed a couple of different restaurants. We took advantage of some gift cards we had. We had some fun cocktails out because we could. Free money on gift cards make it easier to buy alcohol like cocktails out. I'm not gonna lie. And I know you would tried one that had some aviation gin, or is it aviation gin or aviator gin? Aviation gin.
Yeah.
And that one was really fun.
That one was probably the one I enjoyed the most. It was like a pineapple and tropical bitters and stuff.
Maui or something.
Hula.
Okay, there we go. I'm looking at this and and then I actually ended up getting a gin cocktail. I went to a concert last week and found a gin cocktail because it said something about reliving the Roaring 20s, and I was in this old like Hollywood theater venue, which was really fun. So I was like, you know what, this just feels appropriate.
Yeah.
So I had we tried some different types of of drinks and everything. It's just been fun.
You went and saw Pussy Riot.
I did. I went and saw Pussy Riot, and Boyfriend opened up for her or for them. That was an experience. I made some new friends around here and got in kind of a last minute added, like, why don't you come to this concert? So I was curious about concerts, and that is like a big step for me to take that unknown into the city, of just going in, especially during the middle of the week, which is great because Kiddo was on a trip. We were able to kind of not really worry about that as much, and got to bum a ride into the city to go to a concert, and I had a lot of fun. I wasn't sure what to expect at all from the music.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I made sure I didn't listen to it, honestly. And Boyfriend she calls her genre rap cabaret, and that is a very apt genre for it. Could be kind of techno-y rap style music, very protesty and feminist empowerment, but then also had very much performative art as well. What was on stage was really interesting to watch, which was really cool. And it's not music that I would like, yes, I'm going to listen to it all the time. It's kind of fun. Some of it is a little bit lighter than others. It's a little intense.
Some of the stuff you showed me was pretty intense. I'd be like... Yeah,
like harder hip-hop feel.
Yeah.
Not even hip-hop. I guess it is rap, though, right? But then there's like techno-y rap behind it. And but then Pussy Riot was weird, like baby doll poppy sounds mixed with like screamo intensity. I'm super impressed. Like the music itself was quite harsh, not something I'm really into.
Yeah.
But very inspiring to see who they are as people. Being such notable Russian advocates, standing up for the people, standing up against the Putin regime, spending prison time for it, still standing out, going and doing protests, especially down in the States, standing up for women's rights and all that sort of stuff. And she was in town, actually. She had just done the TED Talk that was in Vancouver, and she shared some of that with us. It was very cool to see that. Like, you take this break from this really intense rock show, and then you have a mini TED Talk. And that was the fun experience of that, is kind of being like, oh, wow, I'm in front of this person who's literally standing up against someone who she knows she's again facing criminal charges in Russia and on their wanted list. And that was really cool. Yeah. So I had a really good time. So
nice.
You hung out, Jesse, and had a good time watching.
We got to watch the Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Once a Ranger, Always, Once and Always.
Once and Always.
Yeah. The 30th anniversary special that Netflix and Hasbro put together that brought back some of the old Rangers with 100% new footage, which was really cool. Yeah,
I actually got to watch it this weekend here when, because Kiddo was back, so we all watched it as well. Which was fun. I mean, I'm not as much of a Ranger fan, but I watched a lot of the Mighty Morphin, and so that was still really fun to see.
So like the episode was really fun. It brought back nostalgia in a big way. It was like sitting down on a Saturday morning again kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was kind of uneven, only for the fact where there were some pretty hardcore moments. But then it would like mix in with just that like classic cheeseball Ranger dialogue.
Yeah.
Right? Like it started so dramatic and heavy, only to like, become super light and fluffy again.
Well, I like that they still said the obvious things that let you know what was going on. And so such clunky type of wording, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not the only ones that do that, of course. But it was just so funny. It was like, so you thought of something, you're like, and then pretty much they're going to say it. We're going to do this, but they're going to try to find a way to explain why they're actually saying it in the story, which I just was amused by it at least. So.
And I know Jesse's favorite line was "Beef's off the menu."
Yeah,
he loved that. He kept saying it all night.
It's so funny.
He didn't even order a beef burger when we went and got a burger because he was like, Zach told me beef's off the menu. Off the menu. No, I had a lot of fun with it. It was like really exciting to see. It was really awesome to see the actors come back to play those roles again.
I like that they had a good reason in the story to explain the actors that they did get back within it, without making it feel clunky and strange of why Tommy and Kimberly and everything weren't there.
Yeah.
And Jason, why they had the others, and then it was great being able to give closure on that with Trini and everything like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
They paid homage to that. So.
Yeah, so I really wonder if this will do well enough for them if they're going to try to do something new with Mighty Morphin, because there's all the rumors that they're not going to be adapting series anymore. They want to do their own thing. So is this kind of the test the waters of what people would feel about like a reboot almost of just Mighty Morphin? Because the Mighty Morphin itself is still arguably some of the most popular, even if it wasn't necessarily the best story for the season.
Well, it's still the most
iconic, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because who doesn't love dinosaurs?
Well, and when you think of Power Rangers, you would see those before you see any other design, really.
Yeah.
Right. I love the beginning with the explosions behind them. And that was fantastic. What I liked, not having to reuse the scenes, was when they started fighting. They didn't move from a park suddenly to some random canyon out, like big quarry. Yeah. I love that they didn't hop places. Yeah. That made me happy.
You're just like, one thing I really did like was the fact that Billy got to take a bit more center stage.
Oh yeah,
he got to
that makes sense for you. Your little nerd brain was so excited,
right? And then seeing him also like fire blaster without being morphed too was really cool, right?
Yeah.
So
well, in general, seeing them fight a little bit between Rocky and so Zach fighting the putties without being morphed. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So. And I love that they commented that the putties still sounded like turkeys. That made me laugh. It was just seeing the putties so clearly.
Yeah.
And they're like weird, like flowy hands and movements. Yeah. And it just fit with the way they sounded. And I want to make Kiddo a putty for Halloween, because that just seems like perfect for him. Just sitting on.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
I could be a putty. See, look at that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. No, you could be Rita.
I know. I can screech at people and yell at them all the time. Tell them how good I am.
I wasn't expecting that.
Be my minions. Anyway, so.
But it really has me excited for the remastered Lightning series, so I can actually get into those. And so I know it was really worth it. So if you are a Ranger fan anyways, is definitely give it a watch, because the more watches there are, the more chances they'll try to do more original content, which would be really exciting, because I think they did a really good job, especially for a 50-minute special.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What other types of TV were we checking out?
Well, The Mandalorian finished.
It did.
Season 3 ended.
It flew by. It really did.
It did. It was a fast season.
Yeah.
I really like this season. I know it's gotten a lot of crap because it didn't feel super focused. And just, it was, more, it was expanding a little bit more. And a little bit more goofy, I guess. I
felt it was almost more focused, which was, except for that one where it was on Coruscant. That one felt a little off. The
Coruscant one, and then the CSI episode.
Well, yeah, because that one had that was a whole nother issue. That was CSI Mando.
Yeah.
But it really, I think because it did fly by, so then to me it feels like it was fast paced enough, and it was really interesting. Right?
Yeah, no, I got a kick out of it. Like I really,
it has you making want to be Mando.
Yeah, I would love to be able to figure out how to print out some Mando garb.
Yeah,
and do that for Halloween. That'd be really cool. It'd be great. It'd be fun to have that, and then I can stroll around at work like that. I can just.
I think it was a lot of good action. We ended up watching the season finale twice because of Kiddo missing it, and I really did enjoy in the action, and how I realized how quickly that finale actually flew by.
Fast,
and like it went by even faster the second time around, which was strange.
I just hope Gideon's actually.
I don't believe it. I call bullshit.
Oh, I know you don't,
because I never saw his body or his armor. I don't believe it at all.
Right?
He's buried somewhere in the bottom, and something's gonna happen, and there's gonna be some clone like half dead straggling towards him or something like that, and they're gonna merge.
They're gonna merge.
Yes, they're gonna merge. Sorry, Evil Dead.
Yeah, no, I get it. But they did mention Thrawn, and Thrawn's coming in Ahsoka, so
I'm so excited.
So we got to wait till August for that. So
too long.
Too long. It'll be even longer when we're camping, and an episode's out.
Yeah, at least we won't be any worried about spoiling.
That's true.
There's that. No cell service means no spoilers.
That is very true.
Thank goodness.
But we do have Secret Invasion coming up in June. So.
We do. But yeah, so Mando, I really did enjoy it. That was a good season for sure. It was fun. Bo-Katan was never a character I cared much about, but I really like her development, and I've liked how the Mandos in general have developed. She has become a character that I really have enjoyed because she's
that's like the whole idea of the season led up to just that one moment of what she said.
Mm-hmm.
When it's, like, Mandalorians are weak without their trinkets. And she's like, no, we're stronger together.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that. It made me even happier the second time watching it, because it's like, no, it's really true. They do. Yes, they cared about their trinkets, but what they had forgotten was their power comes from how well they work together, how much they stand up for each other, and this whole season was about that.
Mm-hmm. Putting past the cultist division. Yeah,
and welcoming Bo-Katan back, and then welcoming Mando with Heavy Mando, with saving the son, his kid, and everything, and just doing what's best for the group. And there's a lot of power in that. So I thought that was very heartwarming. And it was also really awesome to see Grogu using the Force for anger. Yeah, for protection and out of love rather than anger. And that was very heartwarming as well. I was like, oh, thank goodness. I saw some fan art online about Grogu wearing like a full Mando mask, like old Grogu being like the leader of the Mandalorians, and I thought that was pretty cool looking. So
nice,
but no, officially a Mandalorian apprentice.
Yeah, I wonder how he feels about that, because he was an apprentice before, and look what happened.
That is true.
Or he was a Padawan, I guess. He never got. He
was never apprentice. So,
but
yes.
Someone's just gonna. No, but yeah, you know what? The only thing I thought was weird was that the season felt like the series was over.
Yeah, it feels like if it doesn't come back, it's fine.
Yeah. So I feel like there's going to be a bigger break than we would like to think there is. Right? They're going to age
you have Ahsoka. It's fine.
Yeah, right?
I guess it wouldn't be bad if they aged him up a little bit to have something different interaction, because if he's an apprentice and still not talking or doing like anything, it'll get real boring real quick.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. But yeah, no, Power Rangers, go watch that. And if you haven't already watched Mando or any of the Mando, definitely something to check out. Mm-hmm. It's me, Mario. Super Mario Brothers. It's been out for 3 weeks now, so it's time for us to review it.
Yeah. We went and saw it on literally opening day here because Kiddo was so excited. Holy crap, it's been a long time already. Yep. But we just didn't know. We didn't really figure we could just do an episode just on that.
A whole Mario episode seemed a little short.
Yeah.
So
we're going to talk for half an hour on this thing now.
45 days later. So Super Mario Brothers is the latest from Illumination and Warner Brothers, Universal. And then the whole Nintendo partnership with Universal. Mm-hmm. So theme parks have got their whole Nintendo world happening and all that. It
makes me cry every time I see the videos.
Luckily, though, there's only like one ride there.
I know.
And it's just like an walk experience.
But it's still really
It's still cool.
Okay, never mind. I don't feel so terrible then. There we go.
There's no vegan options.
Oh. At Universal? Or in
Nintendo World.
Oh, okay.
So that helps.
Oh, okay.
We can't eat at the cool restaurant.
There's that. Yeah. Okay, so never mind.
That saves a lot, right?
Okay.
But so Super Mario Brothers, starring Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Anna Taylor-Joy, Keegan-Michael Key, and Seth Rogen, and more.
And more, yeah.
So, Super Mario Brothers. Quick review for me is that I really enjoyed it. It was a really cute reminder that cartoons can be for kids, and also can take you back to nostalgia of watching something that is just goofy and silly, but without being lowbrow humor, and give you so much nostalgia that it's like an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
So I really got a kick out of it. It was a refreshing animated adventure.
Yeah. I myself, so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It felt like watching an extended video game come to life. I liked the way the story itself flowed. Didn't feel forced. Like, oh, why is this happening? This feels like they're just trying to make it in B. I love how it gave all those Easter egg nods to so many different things that I know through Kiddo, because he talks about it nonstop. But it didn't feel clunky. And I really did enjoy the story itself. It was just simple entertainment. And it was just fluffy fun, and that was great. And it was just fun. And I
right, it's been a while since
best way to say it.
There's been a while since there's been an animated movie that's just been fun.
Well, and
that hasn't been like lowbrow humor.
And that's the thing. That's the thing I forgot was it's not. There was nothing eye rolling about it, or like, really, guys, like that's where we had to go.
Yeah, there's no fart jokes.
There was a lot of intelligent humor in it, really, that made it perfect for a large age range.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, because the theater was packed, and it was there was older people than us, there was little kids in there, and everyone was super happy all in between.
We haven't been in a movie where a theater is clapped after since Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
And people were clapping at the end of this one and cheering.
Yeah. So. It was, and there was like some super fans there. So that was fun to see.
Yeah.
I really like that atmosphere with it, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a giant Easter egg, like Palooza. Like, it's a speed run of, like, my biggest thing is that this is done so well for Illumination and Universal that they're going to try to do a sequel. Mm-hmm. But they've used up like 80% of the Mario lore, that it won't be as impressive.
I think it has a risk of being too focused on a few things and not as overreaching excitement. Yeah. Or
redoing things that they already did, and you're like, oh, because they touched on the cat suit, they touched on the raccoon, the Tanuki suit, right? You got the Mario Kart in there, right?
Yeah.
You've got how Bowser is more in from Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you even have like Luigi being scared and in a haunted type thing, right? Yeah. So really, it's just Yoshi.
Yeah.
And is it gonna be?
And then whatever bad guy they bring in.
Yeah. So then you have the different bad guys, which you could do, but I hope that they put the same amount of care into making sure it makes sense, versus just like, people love this, let's just throw shit on the wall and see what happens. Like, yeah, that's about it.
That is true. My biggest complaint about the movie, and this is something I actually haven't really seen anyone talk about, it freaked me out. Seeing them without their gloves on, that was nightmare-esque. The little sausage fingers that they had.
I honestly don't remember.
When they were having dinner with their family.
That makes sense. That was nightmarish?
It was. It looked so weird. Like, they go ahead and they're like, why you always gotta wear gloves? Why plumbers wearing gloves is ridiculous. And they like got their gloves on and they had like little pudgy fingers. It was weird. Mario with like no gloves is like.
Well, see, I'm very excited to watch it again and look at all the other things that are going on in the background and pay attention to more. And I'm excited to be able to watch it, because then Kiddo can be yelling out stuff that he's excited about.
Yeah.
And now apparently I'll be watching for Sasha's fingers.
Yeah. It would be like if someone took Mickey Mouse's gloves off.
Oh, that's weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Or Sonic's gloves. Like,
yeah. They're like, no, it's your hand. They're not gloves.
Yeah. Bugs Bunny. Like, just...
You're right. That is weird.
So they had that scene where they were having dinner and they had fleshy hands, and it was creepy to me. It was just weird.
No, I get it.
Didn't look weird on the parents and the uncles and all that.
Because
Mario and
then it
Luigi,
looks off kilter, yeah.
it looked weird.
Okay, I get it.
It's kind of like when AI makes hands and it gives you a 6 finger.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, why did it give you a 6 finger?
What happened?
What do we don't know? When did we evolve to only have 5?
I like the Rainbow Road. I love them making their cars. That made me stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Because, so Mario Kart's the one thing that I play. I don't play other Mario.
Yeah.
But I do play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And the little roll where you can change,
change the cars.
Stupid excited. I was like, yeah, that's like you actually do. Oh, I was way too excited.
Right, and that was that. Like, think of those moments for all the other things that were throughout it, right?
Right.
And
so I'm excited to be able to watch it with Kiddo when he can talk, right? Yeah. Because then I'm sure it'll be like,
oh god, he'll be pausing it, and it'll be like a 6-hour affair.
He'll have commentary in the background.
He'll have a little like pointer, and he'll be like,
mm-hmm.
"We need to pause this and enlarge this." And
I like Toad's monster vehicle thing that he had. Kiddo wants that as a Hot Wheel car.
I can see that.
Which is pretty cool. Because that was awesome that he rolled up in that. Like, I love Toad. He was adorable.
Well, it was cool because he could have easily been annoying and he wasn't.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, he easily could have been the weird comic relief that was like, oh my god, shut up.
When do you die?
Yes. But it was like, oh, it's Toad. How exciting. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, no, the Super Mario Brothers was actually really worth it, and I can see why it's dominating the box office. It's its third week at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great hit for them. So I was pleasantly surprised with it. Yes, it's low on story. It's not super like intense story, but it's that nostalgia and the cuteness and just the who's who of like, can you see that or that? And yeah.
Well, I think they did a good job of making a story out of something that has no real intense story to begin with, without making it so far-fetched that it took it out of homage to the video game. Like, that was a weird line, and they did a really good job at it.
Totally.
So that was really cool. So if you haven't seen it for some reason, go see it.
Yeah.
So then we took advantage, being able to go to a midweek evening movie and just randomly decided to go see Renfield because it seemed like something fun to do. And it seemed like it would be a good, humorous enjoyment laugh. It was a weird Nick Cage movie, so why not? So we went and saw Renfield. And it was a ridiculously simple humor Nick Cage movie. And I'm happy we went and saw it. What did you think, Mike?
So Renfield stars Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult, 2 Nicks, the price of 1. It's directed by Chris McKay. He directed the Lego Batman movie and the Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt for Amazon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this was a lot of fun to watch. But I don't think I'd ever watch it again. I never seek it out to watch it again. If it showed up on TV, I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe we can watch that. Like if it was on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it was enjoyable and it was fun, and I'm happy we went and saw it. But if I never saw it again, I wouldn't feel like missing much.
Yeah. So like there's that line where it's like it's entertaining enough to keep you entertained for 90 minutes, and that's really what it is. Its purpose is to kind of like give you some enjoyment for 90 minutes and just laugh at the ridiculousness
of him ripping people's arms off.
Yeah, when you're using someone's arms as nunchucks and then you impale them with them. I mean, it's a good amazing time, right? Yeah, it's literally like like
how could you go wrong,
right? So like the action in it is solid. It's some of the in-betweens that was.
Well, like I liked the heart and the humor in it, and I enjoyed the story. I think he did a great job of feeling sorry for Renfield, but also understanding that Dracula, yes, he took advantage of Renfield, but Dracula also takes advantage of people who are weak and already have those problems, and he just makes you give in to those issues almost, right? So, I mean, obviously he still brainwashed him and whatnot, but at some point we just let that happen, right? Yeah. And so it was a good commentary. There was some depth to the story as well. But it was the most enjoyable parts were still the action.
Yeah.
For sure. Dracula was creepy and gross until he was at full strength. He was actually really hard to look at when he was like all burnt and half healed and everything. That was like, I don't really want to look at your face anymore.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of death.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of death. And then Sonic was the bad guy. So
Ben Schwartz.
He's always just a voice actor to me though, right?
Yeah.
So all I hear is like DuckTales and Sonic whenever I see him. I can't but he was this badass like mobster, and it just felt so weird. So every time he was on screen I was just like laughing, but like I should be scared, but I'm laughing. So
I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is
because he was a bit of a pussy though.
Oh, he totally
he was just kind of,
he was whiny. He just had the status because mommy's money.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a badass himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Until he got powers, and then he was just like, woo.
Yeah.
Renfield. I expected from the opening it was going to be a lot quirkier than it was. I think that's where my thing. Okay, because like with them using like the old Universal Monsters Dracula footage and like putting them in the exact same moments, and it kind of like it jumped around from these scenes of like the past to kind of like catch you up to speed.
Yeah.
Right. And how quirky that opening scene where like he was having to save him was and all that. And then it kind of grinded a bit to the halt. Mm-hmm. Like it almost didn't really know what it was supposed to do with that like subplot of like New Orleans cops being all corrupt and like her story. Mm-hmm. Like that's where it had the Renfield thing figured out, but like then that would have been like a 45-minute movie.
Yeah, the other portions of it.
Yeah, it was like how
them.
That's where it kind of got a little murky.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where it kind of almost felt more like it was supposed to have been like a TV show. Right.
Yeah.
Where it was like, then they were like, well, now we got too much. Now we got to cut it down. We got to like whittle it away or something. So
that makes sense.
That's why I feel like it's worth a watch. But
it was is it Awkwafina that played the cop? Yeah. Well, she did a good job at that though. I like her. She's not overly obnoxious or anything. She still has really good humor, but she had good delivery of lines. So,
but Nick Cage goes full Nick Cage in a few moments.
Yeah, a few moments. I was like, wow, you leaned right into that stereotype.
Yeah, he went from being like almost trying to be like Bela Lugosi for a moment, and then there's a few moments where he just literally is talking, and then he goes woo, and just does something Nick Cagey, and he's
you're like, oh yeah, it's Nick Cage there. I forgot.
Where's there like a guy with a poster board? Go full Nick Cage.
Yep.
He's just like
Let's
watching.
Nick Cage this bitch.
When the red light turns on, it's like, oh, I gotta go extra. I gotta get my big mouth open. And,
pretty much. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. There's like a dog whistle or something, only a sound Nick Cage can hear, and then it's like, woo!
The Nick Cage whistle.
Can we make that?
I think we can.
Oh, you need to make a whistle with a little Nick Cage face in it, like a little harmonica with a Nick Cage face on the end.
Yeah.
And when you blow the whistle, Nick Cage will suddenly let out a woo where he's at.
I love it.
Someone needs to 3D print that for us.
Yes, they do.
A whistle with a Nick Cage head on the end.
Yep.
It'll possibly be turned into a pipe, but... You ever wanted to smoke out of a Nick Cage head?
Yeah, now there you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
We could just start a new store, Nick Cage or Us.
What else would you sell in Nick Cage R Us?
Just everything with Nick Cage's face on it.
Just everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
a whistle, a pipe, a pen, a vibrator, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine that big grin just...
Oh, God. That's actually nightmarish right there.
But novelty...
But novelty is there,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, someone somewhere has got to like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if we can get the licensing for that, though. So it'll have to be a somewhat knocked off version.
Yeah, kind of slightly askew.
Yeah.
Like the tangled version of like, you know, kind of mess up his nose a little bit and
maybe,
like just a little bit off.
Maybe cross-eyed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so I still would recommend seeing this movie. As long as you are a acceptable Nick Cage fan, like you're okay with that portion of it. Yeah, I'm happy we went and saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
It was still a fun experience. It was still entertaining and enjoyable. So.
It's more of an action comedy, less of a horror film.
Yes, there's you know, violence in it, but it's definitely action comedy for anything. So.
Yeah. So Renfield, still in theaters. Fun little movie.
And now the time has come for the main event.
Oh, I'm doing it. Okay.
Oh.
Evil Dead Rise. Dun dun dun.
Try to be cool. It just didn't work out.
You had that whole commandingness. I thought you were just gonna take it. I was like, I was in for the ride. I was waiting for it.
No, I don't do that. I was trying to be like leading it off. No, it didn't work.
Huh.
Oh, it starts out so cool too. Like badass scary bitch. Anyways, we saw Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. So,
and I know you were very, very excited about this movie.
Yeah, this was originally going to be on HBO Max, and they decided to put it to theaters. It is directed by Lee Cronin, I think. He directed something about a hole in the ground. Hole in the ground?
Something about a hole in the ground.
I haven't seen it. It's another horror movie. It's based on a story by him, but it was produced by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell.
This one is?
Yeah. So this one, it's kind of like the requel feel, like a lot of everything's doing, where it's a sequel that's in its own little bubble versus the other stuff, so it doesn't touch anything on the other one, similar to how the 2014 did.
Yeah.
It's just its own thing. So but this one we get something different, something that we haven't really had before with the Evil Dead franchise, besides like the TV show. We get out of the cabin.
Yes.
We go somewhere else. We get out of the forest. And ironically, though, as much as we get out of the forest and out of the cabin, we still are put in an isolated situation with it. So on the 30-second review kind of thing, I friggin' loved it. It was great. It was a good time. Like it had...
You fanboyed a lot.
There was a lot of great fanboy moments in it that were nods to the original Evil Dead, but without feeling forced.
Yeah. Right? And it wasn't taking anything from Campbell.
No.
He said the line.
Yes. Yeah, I loved that at the end there where she picks up the chainsaw and says, "Come get some." Yeah. It was just like,
yeah, super happy. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. At first, I was worried it was going to be a little too dramatic. It was good drama and it was a good story, but I was like, okay, this is going to be like really intense then. Like it's going to be kind of a slow burn, like, because it's always when we start watching horror movies in the year two, I always have like, okay, like stealing myself. Like, okay, we're going to do this now. Like, okay, I'm not kind of prepared for this, you know? And it wasn't that scary, like suspenseful horror. It had shock value. It had good, really good creepy humor, which is exactly what the Evil Dead did. The Deadites were creepy and scary, but they were also amusing because they were mocking and they were everything like that.
And that's the key for an Evil Dead film is that your Deadites need to be taunt.
Yes.
And they need
that's the best part of the demon aspect, right?
Like you don't need the actual grotesque horror. Yeah. And like where the 2014, I think the 2014 actually had more actual grossness to it.
Yes.
had less of the taunting.
More shock value and everything like
yeah,
this.
and I still love that version because we get some really great scenes. But this one was a bit different because you really had one Deadite for the entirety of the film. And that one, it was a constant switch back and forth and that dilemma.
And they did such a good job of really playing into taunting different people, trying to get what they want. So it was a really well-developed character, quite honestly, and so well acted. So once it got into it, I was like, oh, damn, this is actually really scary in a perfect Evil Dead way.
Yeah.
And then it ended with this like swelling of intensity and just crazy ass action. So like I was thoroughly impressed, and I'm excited to be able to watch it again. I know it's going to be one that we're going to want to watch again.
It's one that I hope that there's still discs available. Because like I want to be able to buy this.
Yeah. So I'm very, very happy. It was a good experience in the theater. Everyone was paying attention.
Yeah.
It was really immersed in that. And because at first I was worried, like, is it not going to really feel like an Evil Dead film? But it did enough. And it had some really awesome lore building stuff that makes you really, it was really interesting, so.
Well, at the same time, like where it starts and how it ends leaves it open for more.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, well, where is it supposed to go from here?
Yeah.
Right. And
because it's literally set up for something to happen.
Yeah. Somewhere else.
Right.
And, and I love the fact that they talked about that there's 3 books out there, right? So that gives us our different world building. The book that was in the Campbell films is different from what was in the 2014, and now is what's different from this one here. They're all different. So I think it's really cool to see that and be like, well, will they try to make another movie where they bring all the books together? Or
like they definitely could continue and do more with this, right? So, and
because the idea is all you got to do is read that spell in the book, and you've unleashed something from But the actress that played the mother in it that became the Deadite, she just did a great job.
She reminded me of Pennywise. Yeah, she would have been a really cool Pennywise.
I'd seen that she took a lot of the inspiration of how her face was and everything from Jim Carrey's The Mask. Right? So, because she has had that big toothy smile the entire time.
Yeah.
So, in the way she, but like you get your lines like, Mummy's not here. She's with the maggots, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they cast her half on her, either her smile and her hands.
Yeah.
Like she did such a good job of being creepy, but in a really entertaining way.
Yeah.
That wasn't like squeamish or anything, but there was a good jump scares. There was a few moments where I'm like, Mike, look in the background.
In the background, yeah.
Just that soft out of focus there. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Like I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So.
And I say this one was different from say like the Campbell stuff because you didn't really have, you only had the one really until the end. And then when you got to the end there and then just like everything let loose, then, when you get that scene where they're in the hall and they're chanting Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn, it was just like, oh my God, yes.
That was really awesome.
And then we actually got a monster, which is something different that we haven't really had in the Evil Dead films.
Yes.
We had a bit of it kind of more in the TV show, but still not that much, right? But we got floating Deadites again.
Yep.
Because that wasn't in the 2014. The 2014 was a bit more grounded.
Yes.
Less of the this had a lot more of the supernatural to it, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of it, we, similar to the 2014, which is interesting that it never really happened in the Campbell films. Yes, he got coated in blood, but like both the 2014 and this one, your hero by the end of it is just like raining in blood.
Yes.
Because you had the blood rain, the
There's
plague
so
in the
much of
2014,
it.
where it was just raining blood.
Yeah.
Right? And then this here you had
There's just
the elevator and like...
You gotta watch spoilers,
and
man.
like...
You're moving and venturing into spoiler territory, and we have not given warnings.
But I'm trying to be vague.
But you're pushing it now.
I'm pushing
it now.
Pushing
So
it.
I think we need to stop, and then we can continue talking with spoilers.
Okay.
So, if you haven't seen it, and I know it's brand new, go see it, because it's amazing, and then come back and finish the rest of whatever we want to say right now. Fair enough? Spoilers in 3, 2, 1.
The elevator explodes like the Kubrick's.
Oh yeah,
The Shining. It's a
'cause
total Shining moment.
It filled up with blood. I'm like, and then of course it showed the little like.
That was
maximum,
a smart way of...
That was super awesome, right? Showed the maximum weight capacity, and I'm like,
And just as it went over it...
It goes over it. I'm like, so then all of a sudden you can hear the snap, and it goes down. And I was like, holy crap, they're gonna do a Shining moment. Thing's gonna explode, and blood's gonna go everywhere, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
And then so the mom and the other kids. So that was one thing that was different about this one too, is that you actually have children violence.
I was surprised about that. Honestly.
Because like Evil Dead has always been like teenagers and like 20 somethings, right? So that was something that was different. It was like not teenagers that could drink feel.
Yeah.
Like actually no, all the Evil Dead, they've all been adults.
All just young 20s.
Adults, like 20, in the 20s.
College kids.
Kids. This is the first time we've dealt with teenagers and youth.
So one thing too, they all were nice. I felt bad about everyone. No one had they deserve to die.
Yeah, there was no real
So it just felt terrible. Especially with the mom, like she was really a
going through some shit.
And like even the kids, like the young son, like you weren't even mad at him for releasing everything because you're just like
he was just curious.
It makes sense because like when he climbs down into that vault there, and I was like, yeah, I could see myself being like, I want to see what's down there. And like when he opens up the box, I'm like, oh, I want to look at all that stuff. Even though you look at it and you see all the giant crosses hanging everywhere, and you go, nope.
Yeah, watch more movies.
Watch more movies and realize when you come across something like that, there should be evil there.
Right?
So, yeah, no.
That's one of those.
I loved how they did that though with the records, so that there was a way to explain why it was red.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even like, oh, this is a weird transcription. Let's read this. Like suddenly he could read Latin. Like it would have made no sense. Yeah. This was an awesome way.
I think almost all the Evil Dead, they've all the books have been read by someone that was trying to translate it, and it turned out like on like a recorder or like all these other things. Like it's never been the people that actually find the book. It's always something else.
Someone else recorded it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so in the case of said guy who recorded then a third record to say, shit, shouldn't have done this, why did he not burn the second record that had the recording on it?
That is true, but he maybe died by the time he finished the third one. Maybe.
But like...
But honestly, we would, our generation, our time, if we found that book, we would live stream it.
That is true.
Someone would live stream that shit on TikTok.
Yep.
And we'd have deadites everywhere.
That is true. Okay, never mind. That is true. So. I know you see that happening and you're like, oh shit, this is not going to go well.
Right?
Not going to go well at all. That was really brutal when she got possessed though in the elevator and everything. That was harsh to see that. It happened so quickly, so much violence towards her. Yeah. And it's just...
But like, think about the original one. It was like, it's dubbed the tree rape scene.
Oh yeah, that one.
So
yeah, I forget about that. It's actually really brutal, huh?
Right? So... Yeah. They don't shy away from it being grotesque. Yeah. And the fact that because they don't give you sympathy for the demons, right? Like you don't feel anything for them. You're just like, these things are terrible and scary, and like
holding the teenage girl then with her eating the glass, like that scene was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
She did so good at that. Like, I don't like the thing that I had to turn away though when she spit up all the maggot type things. Like, that made me.
Well, even when she just swallows the glass and the glass
was
ripping
in
her
throat.
throat.
Oh, that was so cool and so disturbing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was
honestly, you know, it's interesting because there was a lot of like, this is the goriest movie in a long time, but like, I remember feeling more squeamish with the 2014 Evil Dead when she cuts her tongue or with the meat knife on the arm. Like,
well, because it almost didn't make sense for just the random shock value violence.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This one, I was, because with you saying that it was like going to be so violent type thing, I was expecting it to be worse. And the only thing I really turned away from was the spitting out the bugs type thing. There was a lot of blood, of course, and the ending scene with the axe and the chainsaw on the head, that went on a little long, but not by much. I also appreciate how difficult that would have also been. Yeah,
well, that was a monster by that point.
Yeah, so that was the only time where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done and ready for this to be over, but. It also made sense. I mean, it didn't.
Oh, a stereotypical horror faction, right? Yeah. Like, you're gonna do so much, and then final scare, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I felt bad when she bit the guy's eyeball out. Yeah, that was really intense.
And then that was true Evil Dead fashion.
Oh,
she turns and spits it. And,
and then it goes down someone else.
Yeah,
like it was ridiculous, right? And so I thought that was really cool. And then, but the taunting and the name calling, like the old man, he easily could have been an asshole. He wasn't even an asshole. Like they all were trying to work together and help each other out.
Yeah, that's what made this one different. Was like you never felt like, except for the kid at the very beginning, which was a bit of a dick, but never a dick enough to be like, oh,
you deserve to have that
your head ripped off, right? Yeah. Like,
oh, that was a very brutal start to that movie, though, with her scalp being ripped off. Holy shit, that was like, oh my god, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Right,
and
oh, when she comes out of the water and she's floating,
and it showed up on I got goosebumps.
The title showed up.
I seriously did. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes, we were in for something special at that point.
Yeah, no, that was really cool.
I would love to make an Evil Dead type film.
I know.
It would just be like, yeah. Just works.
Well, we got around to the end of it and we're like, how is it going to connect to that first scene?
I know, right?
And then it did a great job of connecting to it then. Because you're like, wait a second, this means that it somehow got to them. How did it get to them? Yeah. Especially with everything that had happened. But then when you hear the priest talk about destroying it, it was like, I did all of this, but you still actually can't destroy it. Like, well, damn, this is terrible. Mm-hmm. But it's a great analogy for the concept that sometimes things can't be undone, you know?
Well, even in the Campbell stuff, it always found its way back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it just proved
evil is
that
just
it's just like
very powerful, right?
Yeah.
So, I like that it was unearthed by something innate. Like, it wasn't them trying to find something. It was just wrong time. You know, wrong place, wrong time for everything. So
and that's where it has.
It was really sad too. I loved the apartment. It looked so cool. It actually
condemned building.
A lot of these things made me really sad. I'm like, oh, that sucks. They're gonna have to move out, and like this place is gonna get destroyed. Like, this is such a cool house, and I'm just like, I'm way caught up in all these other details that have nothing to really care about. But yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I did quite love how much the Dead by Dawn, though, that scene.
You love that a lot, yeah.
Well, when
it was creepy.
Well, because it took me back to the second one, Dead by Dawn, right?
Yeah.
Like, right? And when it had a bit more of the humor and all that, like, it did a great job of, like, really kind of encompassing, like, all that stuff.
So funny when I watch so many movies now, all I can try to picture is what would a maze at Horror Nights look like. And, like, that scene with them moving around the hallway and the elevator and them chanting, like, all I could think of.
Oh, yeah. A hallway where people are just laughing and screaming, Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn.
And, like, that's all I could think of. I was like, this is so amazing. This would be such a terrifying maze.
Right? Because you would walk through that and you would just have them, you know, all, like, strung out on the floor with their white eyes. Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn.
Because it was so... creepy and yet so amusing all at the same time.
You throw some wind in there too, and as you walk through that before you go into the black, and then you're in the garage, right?
Yeah. So. Well, you called it earlier when you saw the wood.
Oh yeah,
and then we heard them talking about having to cut it up in a bunch of pieces, and you're like, oh, he's bringing everyone down to the wood chipper. She's putting them in that.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, like, I love this too, Mike. How are they gonna get them down there? I don't know. Chuck them down the stairwell, like. Yeah, it's a legitimate thing to do, I guess, because they're not gonna hurt each other. So. Yeah, that was. Was really good.
Oh yeah, really
good. Especially though, I always love when we start talking about it more, and you're like, really realize how amazing it is.
This is probably the most I've enjoyed a movie this year so far.
Yeah.
Out of everything we've seen, we've actually got to see a lot of movies. Like, there's been a lot of new movies this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Which is exciting, and like. It was nice to go to something I was so excited for
and have it live up
and be like amazing, right? Not just be excited for something and go, oh yeah, I saw it, right, and be like, So that's one thing I was really stoked for. Is like I'm excited to watch it again. Like,
well, and then with how it ended, showing that it's free now in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to then define what's going to happen. The book was really scary too. That was really like with the teeth? There. It was, and those drawings that are in there, like those were really intense. I liked too when it would flip open and it would give you a sense of what was going to happen. I was like, that was really cool. Mm-hmm. It was we're letting go of this demon or this spell right now. I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Like because I've talked on here before how much like I love the ones that feel like they could be real, and this one rides that line a little bit, right? Because of the demon aspect for things, right? And
well, that's the thing is like I am really surprised that the Evil Dead hasn't become more of a thing. Like, it feels weird that it's not in the realm of Jason and Freddy where it has like 20 movies.
Yeah,
because you have a faceless demon. Mm-hmm. You just have evil that comes up to cause chaos.
Well, and I think if this does well, and if they can lead off of this, if you can have less of Campbell involved with it, because I think these ones, opposed to the villain being the main of the story, it was always just Bruce Campbell or Ash, right?
Yeah.
So if you can lead it more towards the idea of following the evil around, then I think there'd be a lot more story to tell, because, them talking about the fact that, what this demon is there for is just to cause destruction and chaos. And it's such a versatile villain, because that means something different to everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, that demon reacted in a certain way based on the people that it was around, because of the memories that it just, I love how it was tricking the little girl, trying to pull off of hope that her mom's still okay, and like talking about and the mimic and all that sort of stuff, right? It's definitely the scariest thing. Mm-hmm. And if you can move away from having it just stuck on Ash.
One character,
Yeah, so then that would allow you to...
It's more or less the book that then
the book spell. Is the villain, right? Yeah. And the book is the source of it. So if you could follow that around, I think that'd be really interesting, right? Now, I mean, of course, the evil, is now out in the forest, but the book is still at the apartment.
One of the books
is at the apartment. So I'd be kind of curious to then see if they did make another one, how they would reconcile that and what would happen with that. Would the sister go back? Would she try to hide it, or would because the building's being condemned anyway, would it just disappear into some rubble, or what would happen, right?
Yeah. So. No, that's fair. But yeah, Evil Dead Rise was totally worth it in theaters. I highly recommend it if you stayed with us and you're still listening.
Yeah.
It's
Very, very cool.
It was a full cup of rad.
Indeed.
And some. So next weekend is our Guardians rewatch. which will lead us into waiting for the
new Guardians.
Guardians
It's a week and a half,
Volume
man.
3. Volume 3.
It's very exciting stuff.
So the finale.
Hopefully, that other one that you were very excited about will also lead up to
that's
not you being an emotional wreck. You might have to take Friday off. I don't know.
Maybe. Depends on who dies.
Right? I think my boss might also understand.
But yeah, that's definitely my most excited movie for.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think about like what else is coming out, and like I'm drawing a blank.
I'm excited for Barbie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's Barbie.
I'm so excited. That's my next movie that I'm super excited for. So
that's fair.
Yeah. That's it. It's Guardians and Mando. I mean,
Guardians and Mando
and Barbie. The reason why I mixed those up, which was kind of funny, we were throwing around the idea of Halloween stuff and being Barbie Mando, basically taking the armor and making it into Barbie, and I love that idea. Can someone donate some money for me to make this, because it's going to be like a $500 outfit, and I also don't feel like doing that though.
But you wouldn't be the armor. You would be the...
What was it again?
The Bedazzler.
The Bedazzler, yes. The Bedazzler. And there's someone who's like hardcore Mando fan screaming right now. But
hey, sometimes you got to be fabulous.
Yes, exactly. Fabulous and glitter, and it'll be amazing. I mean, it's just the 80s rock star Barbie just writes itself into the armor outfit. It's perfect. So, but yeah, next time will be Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
So it'll be a week and approximately 2 weeks for another episode for sure, because that's the way the world works now. With us. Anyone else? Any final words, Mike? Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty much got nothing to say.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
And remember, stay rad.